Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles and cousins, of course, and abuelos or abuelas, or if you prefer, grandmothers and grandfathers, and baseball fans everywhere. Welcome to this edition of the Valley Baseball League podcast. Hello, everyone. My name is Graham Knight, and I got to tell you, there is a fair bit of serendipity going on with these podcasts. Let me just lay out what's been happening. Last week, I've been trying to track down Brett Gardner. Really want to talk to him about his time in the Valley League and the work he did while he was here and about the success he's had in his career since. I had contacted his agent, and we had a nice discussion about that. Anyway, we're in the process of contacting him. Hasn't been worked out yet, but I was at a local business as Winchester, Virginia is starting to open back up, and I ran into one of our Winchester Royals fans. And I was sharing the conversation with her about what was going on with Brett and how we're trying to get him on the show and what was happening with the podcast. Anyway, she starts talking about the Savannah Bananas. And like the next day, I end up talking to Erin Summers about it. And it just so happened she did an interview with Jesse Cole not that long ago. So the question you're probably asking yourself is, what does this have to do with the Valley Baseball League? Well, let me tell you. So our mission is really fourfold. I like what Brian O'Connor said. If you haven't heard Brian O'Connor's interview, stop right now, go listen, and then come back. Because Brian O'Connor refers to the Valley Baseball League as a baseball internship. I really like that concept. We're really, one of our missions is to give these players a chance to see what it's like to turn pro. Another part of it is to give them a chance to develop their skills. Beyond player development, our goal is to promote baseball and also to provide some good, inexpensive family entertainment. I mean, the Valley League's providing baseball games to families for like $5 a ticket for adults and $3 for kids. If you haven't been to one of our games and just seen the mayhem that happens when a foul ball goes out of play, you're really missing something. But Jesse Cole has taken that up to another level. Anyway, I'm bringing this all up because part of our mission is to give these players a chance to see what it's like to turn pro. And if you know anything about the Valley Baseball League, you know that 1,100 players, that's over 1,100 players, and I'm happy to say one NFL player. If you want to know more about that, go back to Ryan Fecto's interview. You can stop now. I'll still be here when you get back, and you'll find out about our one NFL player. But part of our job is to get these players into the major leagues. If they want to play Major League Baseball, this is a chance to get discovered. If you haven't heard our podcast with Rick Spires, you're missing that because he had the potential to get discovered here as a D3 player. We're going to bring you Michael Walensky interview in the very near future. He's episode 3. That's this mini of where are they now and what are they doing there. He's with the Houston Astros, in case you're wondering. Anyway, I'm getting off track. My point is, these players come out of our league and go into the pros. If you watched our game from a couple of nights ago, the 2017 Northern Division matchup between the Strasburg Express and the championship Charlottesville Tom Sox from that year, you know that 6 players, that's this many, or if you prefer this many, 6 players came out of that at Strasburg Express and went pro. Well, where are they going? A lot of them are going into the minor leagues. So what we want to do is we want to give you a preview of kind of what the minor leagues look like now and what the minor leagues might look like in the not too distant future. We had a great discussion on that, but before we share that discussion with you, I want to set up the context, and thanks to Erin's time and efforts, we are honored and privileged to bring you her interview with Jesse Cole.
Hey everyone, I'm Erin Summers here with Jesse Cole, owner of the Savannah Bananas. The Bananas are one of 15 teams in the Coastal Plain League. It's a collegiate summer baseball league across North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Georgia. Jesse, the league just announced last week that they're moving their opening date from May 28th to July 1st in light of the coronavirus pandemic and all of the restrictions going on across the country. How have you seen an impact with the Savannah Bananas?
Well, it was exciting because it's a bold move. We may be the first league to play in front of fans, which is very exciting. And I think whenever you can be the first of something, it's a good thing, especially if you actually, in this scenario, really have plans on how you're going to make it safe and do it in the right way. So for us, it was wild. I mean, I remember, March 12th, the day before my birthday, when the pandemic was announced, and we're like, all right, this is real. And I remember texting Justin with the league. I said, this is happening. And we had to figure out what we were going to do to serve our fans, take care of our people. if it got really bad, which it did. And so it was very clear for our role. It was like we had to be fans first, entertain always, and our biggest fans are our people. So our number one goal is we can't let anybody people go. We can't let our staff go. They're going to be with us, even though revenue is non-existent when you don't know if you're going to play. So we had to figure out what role could we play with that. So what we did was we got on a Zoom call. We said, all right, guys, what's our role? What's our job? And it is fans first, entertain always. What does that look like now? We had an idea palooza. I remember it was a fun one. It was a happy hour on a Friday. And on Zoom call, we said, all right, what can we do to entertain our fans? And all of a sudden, everyone had to come with 3 to 5 ideas. And we just came up with all these ideas that, all right, we're going to do music videos. We're going to do Facebook Live trivias. We're going to do cooking with the Bananas. We're just going to bring the show to our fans. And when this does come out, hopefully when we can announce that we'll play, that our fans will be there with us. And last week, we had a big press conference on a Wednesday at noon, and all the media was there. The mayor was there. And the response was unbelievably positive. And we were scared because we're like, are they ready for us to come out? And they were ready. And I think it worked out pretty well.
A couple of things there. You mentioned taking care of your staff. You have the largest staff out of any team in the Coastal Plain League. You have 14 full-time staffers, not even to mention all of the game day staff that you bring in. How have you been able to maintain such a large staff and ensure that everybody can stay on?
Well, I think 4 years ago when we had the same situation, when we got a phone call on January 15th, 2016, that we overdrafted our account. And this is when we only sold 2 season tickets to the Bananas at all in our first 4 months. It was brutal. It's the same situation, just a little bit worse. Emily turned to me, my wife, and she said, we have to sell our house. And so we sold our house, we sold our house, emptied out our savings account, we're sleeping on an airbed. And so I think if you're truly dedicated to your people, you will always do whatever it is to sacrifice for yourself for what's the better good for your people. And I think that's how we run our business. We focus on long-term fans over short-term profits.
So it was your house before. What was it this time that you had to sell?
So we haven't had to sell anything, but we prepared ourselves. No, in all honesty, I mean, we looked at all of our assets. What can we do? What can we sell? What can we have ready? And fortunate, we probably would have had to if we weren't going to play a season. But because we're able to play a form of a season, we're able to hopefully make it through this. And I think if you have the mindset of you're always there for your people, they will always be there for you. And they'll always be there for your fans, your bottom line, your customers. So that's the mindset we take, but it's scary. And I know I've seen minor league teams cutting 60, 75% of their staff, and it's going to get worse. So fortunately, I think we're in a position now that we're prepared that if this happens again, what are we going to do? What's our business model look like? What's our business model look like if we can't play live baseball? So you'll see from us some announcements in the next 4 to 6 weeks that we're going to have many other opportunities for people to engage with the Bananas and not just have to go to our ballpark. So it's going to make us stronger, which is pretty exciting.
Over the past 2 seasons, you've sold out every single game, 88 straight games. Moving forward, when the season does start on July 1st, you said that you will be at limited capacity. How do you still bring that experience to as many people that want to see the Bananas play?
Well, it's the questions that you're asking. So for instance, like, all right, if they're at half capacity, how are we doing different entertainment in the grandstand? How are we doing different entertainment in the concourse? We have 4 stages, and we're going to go to a 5th stage if things work out. Our 4 stages are on the field. Our next stage is in the grandstand on the seats. Our 3rd stage is in the concourse, and our 4th stage is in the plaza. So whether that's our pep band, whether that's our male cheerleading team, whether that's we've hired a professional wrestler on staff. That's a whole nother story. Whether we have, you name it, our high fiver, which now he's going to have to become the professional air high fiver. So, you have to look at everything in a different way. We have singers. We're working with a circus group now that has aerialists, fire breathers, stilt walkers, sword swallowers. We're going to reach a deal with them pretty soon. How are they entertaining in different ways? And so it's a great question. It's a great challenge. Most people think your whole show is on the field, and they think mostly it's just the baseball. I think the teams that are successful are going to be looking at it dramatically differently now. And so that's what's exciting for us. Yes, we're going to have barriers, and there's going to be social distancing. The selfies will look a little different this year, but I think that's fun because it's going to make you find a way to make it more, give them that same type of experience. Because I don't want anyone to come to a ballpark and say, this wasn't what I expected. Every game is someone's first game. And if someone's first game, which we're fortunate, every year we have people fly in from Japan and you name it, and Germany and the UK and Australia. They come in solely for a Bananas game. They come in this summer and it's different and it's not as fun. It's not as exciting. We're failing as a company. So fans first, entertainment always. We got to make sure that every person that shows up this year, it's the best experience, best show they've ever had, regardless of them being another 2,000 people there.
And where does the yellow suit fit into all this? The yellow tux that you're wearing?
You know, this was, shoot, I've been wearing this for what now? I think I'm 9 years, might even go into my 10th season now. I think if you want to be a great leader, whether you're an owner, I look at Mark Cuban, he does a great job because the fact is he models it. He's on the court. He's into it. He's the biggest fan of the team. He's showing what he wants for his staff, that passion, that care. And if we want fun in a show, in a circus, and your owner is professional and just dressed up very nice, is sitting in his suite and just counting money, that's not going to happen. So that's why I am dressed like this, because it's more, this is my uniform. This means it's showtime, and I want permission for our staff to not take themselves seriously and have fun. And you'll see it. Our staff is going to be wearing even more ridiculous outfits than I've ever seen this summer, just because this is who we are. And we need more fun, especially now, because people, it's just so serious. Everything's fear, challenge. No, if you can do it in a safe way, show that you can have fun. And so that's why I wear it.
And you've talked about the show that there is every single game. When do you start practices with the dancers, the dancing nanas and the dancing grounds crew? And you said kind of more the circus aspect that you're going to be bringing this summer.
Yeah, so we pushed auditions, I think, like 4 times now. Like, at first it was like in March, then it was in April, then it's in May, and now it's in June. Yes, we have pushed auditions a bunch. I think our auditions in early June. What's great is the Banana Nanas are like, they're year round. Like, it's so crazy how much time the Banana Nanas put into it. Head Nana Karen, she's like, Jesse, I don't know if you know this, but we practice 3 times a week, year round, to get ready for this. I'm like, that's a lot. That's very intense. You guys better be good this year then. The Bananas, I don't even know what kind of practicing that takes. They're just male cheerleaders who just throw their pom-poms and dance. But even the players, it's not just the players getting ready for baseball, it's the players getting ready for the show. So, for instance, our intimidation coach or our trainer, our professional wrestler, Voodoo Jack, which is real life, he is working on a haka, which, if you know the hakas from like back, rugby days, he's working on that. So yes, there will be a practice where the guys learn how to do a haka right before the national anthem at the other team. Is it going to look crazy? You better believe it. So there's actually preparation that goes into that with the guys. So our 2 weeks prior, there will be a lot of videos. We're going to announce Bananas Insider, which is going to be the first ever all access subscription model that people have ever seen, showing games they've never seen before, showing dugouts, locker rooms, on the banana bus, host family, cooking with bananas, shower interviews. I just named a lot of things, but that's all going to happen. There's going to be 2 weeks of prepping with the bananas. So we'll be doing lots of video, lots of film. There'll be cameras around. So it's teaching the guys the part of that as much as it is the baseball. So their schedule will be very full, but I think the players are looking forward to that. Think about everyone else right now. It's sitting at home waiting. It's like, I get to do all this. I get to entertain, whether it's in front of people on the screen, whether it's in front of people in the stadium. So I think the guys are hungry, and the players I've talked to, they're like, we can't wait. And one of our top guys, who is the famous Dancing Deegan, 6'7" University of Kentucky dancer that can't dance at all, but he thinks he can. And actually, he's come a long way. He can now dance a little bit. He was set to go to Cape Codley. Cape Codley completely canceled their whole season. And so he fires me a text. You guys go, I'm coming back. He goes, I can't wait. And so it's exciting to give these guys the opportunity now, and a lot of leagues are also canceling.
One of the stages is the field for the players. When are they going to be allowed to come in, and how do you feel about their ability to play baseball when they lost half of their season?
Yeah, that's fluid, and that's obviously something none of us are used to. But I think when you bring on great people, and you empower them to do the job, it makes things easier. I think Tyler Gillum is one of the greatest coaches in minds and person that cares about people as much as anyone I've ever met. So we talk regularly. And it's not where, hey, I go, Tyler, what do you think is best? How do you want to lead this? How do the players get ready? How much time do you need in prep? What do the workouts look like? What are the safety precautions we need? And when you give that coach that much ownership, and it's not a battle, front office versus coach, we want this from the players, we want this, and you let them run it, then all of a sudden you have the complete ownership of not only the coach, but the players. And you have everyone on the same page. So what is it going to look like? We're going to look at 2 weeks early, 2 weeks before the season. And it's going to be obviously, we're going to have a bigger roster. And we're going to look at how do we almost split squad in an idea, kind of like spring training, where guys are getting ample time off to be able to get ready. It's not game every single day. And so there's a preparation. The number one thing that Tyler is focused on is the safety of the players, not just with the COVID-19, but also with, coming back from not playing. Players, as I played college ball, you're playing constantly. It's 24/7. You really don't take much of a break. Even in the off season, you're working out. These guys aren't working out like that. So I think we will succeed if we limit the injuries to nothing. And that's going to be on Tyler and our training staff. And we'll see. I know our roster is going to be much bigger. We'll have a lot more players that will hopefully give us some freedom to give guys time off and the ample training that they need.
What has been the feedback that you've gotten from the college coaches, knowing that they're giving you their players for a condensed season, a later season, coming off of one where they didn't get to finish their own?
Going back to kind of what I said is I've only talked to a couple. Coach Gillum, Tyler, he talks to all of them, and he's hearing from hundreds of coaches, hundreds of players that want their players to get reps, want the innings, wants the at-bats. So the response from the coaches has been tremendous. Now, the few that I've talked to, they're just looking at, hey, how can we get our guys to get some at-bats and innings? So it's the same mindset. I think there'll be some that are scared and that have fear, but the guys need to get their work in. And going into the fall, if they get even a few at-bats, a few innings, it'll be a win. So I think that's the mindset we're hearing.
You've mentioned the sales and the merchandise and how you get people buying your clothes from across the world. And one really unique thing that you did before coronavirus started was take all of the ads out of your stadium. Looking back now on what's happened over the past couple months, do you regret that decision at all? Would you have done things a little bit differently?
No, I think it was probably even more the best decision we ever made. So think about this. Let's rewind it. So all the teams that a majority of their revenue has come from sponsors and ads, and their seasons canceled, or their seasons cut in half, or they're playing less games. That's a tough spot to be in right now. If I'm a business or I'm a sponsor, I want my money back. I want a refund. I want to at least put the money to the following year. We made it our goal to have our sole responsibility to our fans and not to sponsors and not to advertisers. As crazy as that sounds, we are not the best advertising company in the world, but we believe we can put on the best show and the best entertainment for fans. So we threw away hundreds of thousands of dollars this past year to make that decision. And where people think it's absolutely crazy, what happened after that, the support globally took off even more than we ever imagined. That wasn't the goal. The intention was to create an experience that's solely based on fans. The merchandise tripled, quadrupled. Today, even though we're doing merchandise ridiculous all over the world because people are supporting something they believe in. And I'll tell you, I believe in the future of TV and streaming and shows. What happens when an ad comes on? There's a reason why we love Netflix, because there's no ads. There's another reason why things that frustrate us about YouTube. Skip the ads, skip ads, skip ads. You're constantly trying to skip. We've all been there. So why do something that frustrates your fans or frustrates your customers? Well, ads at a stadium really don't frustrate us. But do you ever say, I'm going to the ballpark, I can't wait to be advertised to? No one wakes up and says, I want to be advertised to. So it's a decision that to many doesn't make sense, and that's fine. The decision is best for us because the name of our company is Fans First, and we don't believe ads are the best fan experience. So we made that decision, again, taking away short-term profits, which was huge, for creating more long-term fans. And if we have hundreds of thousands of fans and we create that globally, I think we'll be okay.
Some of your fans, I don't know how familiar you are with the Dan Le Batard show, but the shipping container, they always are wearing Savannah Banana gear. They're talking about the Macon Bacon, which is another team in the Coastal Plain League. Now, they've said that they've been asked by both sides to come to a game, but they're not going to pick one team over the other. They don't think that it's fair. So if you can give a pitch to Dan Le Batard and the shipping container, why should they pick going to a Savannah Bananas game?
It's a good. See, I haven't had to make a pitch in a long time. So the thing is, I could throw some serious jabs here. You could get me going. That's why you're a good reporter. I could throw jabs on the little brother Macon Bacon, but I won't do that. I won't throw any jabs there. And that all I'll say is, where do you think you'll have the most fun? Where do you think that you're going to leave that ballpark and say, you wouldn't believe what I was a part of tonight. You wouldn't believe what I saw firsthand. You wouldn't believe these people have giant banana beards. You wouldn't believe all these crazy things that I was a part of. I think the answer is pretty simple. And that's what we're trying to build. So I think we've mentioned it to them. A lot of people, I know Dave Portnoy and Barstool, he was wearing our stuff the other day, and it's really cool. I think if you create something that's fun, people want to be a part of it. So I'm not going to pitch anybody, but we're going to keep having fun, and hopefully you guys will come out and enjoy it.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Jesse.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, baseball fans. It's a glimpse at what Jesse Cole is doing in the Coastal Carolina League to keep fans engaged. Really kind of intrigued by his perspective of the game as 5 different stages. Anyway, that's context for the conversation we're going to have tomorrow about minor league teams. Many of the minor league teams are facing a similar question. How do you keep fans engaged? It's a question I'm sure Major League Baseball has asked as well. It's a question that Joe Harmon asked me about the Valley Baseball League. Anyway, good questions. They're all good questions, and they all make great discussions. So just don't take my word for it. Tune in tomorrow night and see what's going on in the minor leagues when it comes to where they are now and what they're likely to look like in the future. Want to again thank Erin Summers for sharing that interview she did with Jesse Cole. Very grateful to her for her help with the Valley Baseball League this season. And want to thank you for joining us today. Like I said, join us tomorrow night for part 2 of this discussion. And if you're looking for other multi-part series to kind of delve into, don't forget our 6-part series on the all-decade teams. There are some great players in there and some great stories. We did a 3-part series on Where Are They Now? Great look at Rick Spires and kind of his success in the league. We had just interviewed Michael Walensky. That'll be coming up very soon, and so much more. So that's what's on the play card. How about the lineup? That's our baseball lineup. There you go. There's a baseball term for you. Anyway, that's our lineup for the coming days. We are counting down the start of the season. May 29th will be the start of our 2020 season. Yes, I know there won't be any new games, but you're going to get a look at the games that were played. Not all of them, 42 of them, the 42 best games from the 2019 season, with a layer of analysis that you couldn't have gotten the first time. So that's my promise to you. Look forward to that starting May 29th, and look forward to tomorrow night when we continue this discussion on minor league teams, what they are now and what they're likely to look like in the future. On behalf of the league, the teams, we want to thank you for joining in tonight, and as always, want to wish you all perfect health and want to wish you all a speedy return to the baseball diamond. I'm Graham Knight. Good night. See you again tomorrow night, same time, same YouTube channel.